Yo, 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 what up, what up, what up? It's your girl V-HENNY, man. You already know the vibes. Welcome to the Artistry, where we talk shit about music, entertainment, and the everyday struggles. And you know how we do, man. We always have a dope guest in the building. We have hip-hop artist. He reps the Bronx to the fullest. Make some noise for my guy, Joe the Poet.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having me.
I know. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
It's been like maybe like 6 years. 5 around there, maybe.
I think more.
More. I know. It's been a while since we had Mr. Joe the Poet on the Artistry Show.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I think we was in Harlem the last time.
Yes. So that was like around maybe 2015, 27. Well, 2015 I started the Artistry.
So 2016 then, probably.
No, the beginning of 2017 is when I launched the Artistry on my own in Harlem.
Okay.
So that's when I had you on the show.
7 years ago.
Damn. Wow. Well, you're here.
Yeah.
And you know, you here is because you understand you've been doing your thing, you know? Like,
appreciate it, you know.
We out here, man, in L.A.
Yes.
You know. How you feeling?
Well, for starters, blessed and highly favored. Being out in L.A. has shifted my energy.
Okay.
Shifted my mindset. I think I'm more prepared for more challenges.
Okay.
Since coming over from the East Coast, obviously, get an opportunity to meet so many different talented people, or just people in general.
Right.
You know, it's just been a whole culture shock in a sense.
Has it been? Like, I mean, I can't imagine, you know, like, I'm just asking, like, has it been? Because I feel like LA is a fast pace. I'm assuming it's fast pace when it comes to the industry.
I think because we from New York, our fast pace is a lot different from other states' fast pace.
So can you share any notable differences or challenges you've encountered in the hip hop scene between New York and LA?
Oh, that's a good question, man. Question number one. God damn. See any challenges? Honestly, at this given time right now, no. I think what New York has brought for me is just the willingness to stay persistent, to stay hungry, to get up and go after it. So when coming over here, just more so trying to meet different people.
Right.
And because they don't know me and I don't know them, I'm literally just bouncing around the rooms, working the rooms, talking to everybody. So I can't really think of a challenge per se. I think everything for me has been smooth going. And again, it's because of everything that I learned in New York City.
Gotcha. And
what I would say though, some of the other artists that I did meet are having somewhat of a difficult time.
Why? Okay.
And I just think maybe it's just the approach that is different.
Okay.
I don't think they're doing further research on
out here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they're doing further research on curators. There are a lot of open mics. There are a lot of opportunities out here. But I think as an artist, you have to kind of understand where you at and what will benefit you. I think a lot of people just like to just jump on just to get heard.
Right.
You know, so
this is where it comes with like the difference between working smart opposed to working hard.
Right.
You know, because you said like the artists need to know where they're at in their career, where they're at. You know, where are you?
I feel like I'm definitely not at the bottom. I don't want to say at the bottom. That's wrong phrase. I'm not at the beginning stages in this music career.
Okay.
I'm definitely a lot further. I've advanced.
Okay.
I'm still learning.
Okay.
But I understand what's my niches. I understand what's my demographics. I understand who Joe the Poet is as an artist.
Okay.
So because I understand those three things, I know exactly what to go look for and what to go invest in.
Okay.
Instead of just spending my money, crazy, doing all kinds of things, not really seeing any type of benefits at the back end of it.
Okay. So would you say, because I always tell people that there is a difference between underground artists, established artists.
Mm-hmm.
And this has nothing to do with indie or label artists. Right. You can be a label artist and still be underground, Right. So where do you categorize yourself, in a sense?
I'm working my way to be more established.
Okay.
Because I came from the underground scene.
Right.
So rehearsing, focus on nutrition, reading, breathing, praying, doing things outside of the music. So then when I'm fully activated and I go into, music mode, then, you can see that I'm polished. You can see that I have stage presence. You can feel my lyrics instead of just hearing it.
Okay. Right.
And then I don't rap on top of my vocals.
Which I love.
So
thank you, God. Thank you, God.
It takes a lot of practice to be able to be confident enough to work the stage and still deliver each and every single word.
Right. And you like, because you're focusing on your health and like you're working because of the working of the moment of you working that stage, you're able to like learn how to control your breathing,
right,
and all that good stuff, So and you're having long sets. You're not, like you're not having like a 6-minute set or 8-minute set. Like you. So I applaud it. Like.
And then the stages are bigger. The speakers are bigger. So it's like I had to learn how to adapt to that because. Being in the underground, I used to really perform in a lot of smaller stages.
Right.
I didn't really have to move so much. But now that I'm in a different environment, bigger stages, more crowd, I got to really work the room. So.
Gotcha. So how has the change of environment and culture impacted your creative process?
It allows me to see things from a different lens. It allows me to give my music a fair shot.
Okay.
I think a lot of us, when we create music, well, for me, back then I just used to want to create, put out, and not really doing any type of marketing, not even really performing the songs like that. Or maybe I'll perform it one night, and then you can hit me up for another show, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to change and perform another song.
Right.
Really working the song, really working the record to seeing what type of impact it has on people. I learned that over here.
Okay. I'm blessed to say that I got to see the start of Joe the Poet. I learned who you are as Joseph, as the person, but meeting, should I say, Joe the Poet as the artist. And, I remember, like even moments where we would bump into each other at shows, whatever. And I remember, like the startup of everything. Yeah. I feel like we both started together in a sense, and I feel like it's been a beautiful thing to see your growth, I know for a fact, as your friend, it hasn't been easy.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, like it's been challenging, especially like with the whole work in the New York scene, and then coming over here, like showcases and touring and etc. I guess what I want to know, what would you say would be your biggest challenge that you overcame and you're most proud of as an artist and to this day, you know, like it stays engraved in you.
Don't listen to the naysayers. Because had I did that, I wouldn't be sitting right here right now talking to you. A lot of people in my past always used to tell me, you know, why you doing music? You trash, you no good. They used to tell me, you better off, you know, going to the military because you're never going to make money making music.
Damn, that's harsh.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, I get it,
Yeah,
but
I mean, so I think because I didn't listen to those naysayers and because I continue to push, of course I had my supporters behind me helping me push as well too. I've been able to surpass that, and I give the most kudos to them because of it. Because
okay.
it starts there, you know, it starts from the groundwork. So imagine me being, I don't remember how old I was at the time period, but listening to that, it would have altered my life and
Right.
you know, altogether. So
And I give it to you because you didn't give up.
right.
You didn't give up. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there was even a moment when I was like, yo, bro, like, you're not taking it serious, you're not doing anything. Like, I think at this point, like,
And you keep it real, so I love that about you. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to keep going. You know, if you see a vision, believe in your vision and go full throttle with your vision.
so because I said that, like, when did you start realizing the shift within the whole aspect of you now? Like, I gotta put 1,000%.
Last year.
Yeah, I agree.
Last year.
And what was that
It was just a real
inspiration or motivation behind it?
I've always been the one to be the back burner for everybody else. And that's just because I naturally want to see people win. You know, I naturally want to be that team player. So if I have to be a role player to help, you know, cultivate everybody else, then
Right.
let's do it. Something just came to me last year, and it was just like, nah, bro, it's your turn. It's your
I know
turn.
that feeling.
So, and then I remember, I think we was in Atlanta for A3C, and I'm like, and you looked at me, you're like, I know you want to do this.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, I remember. That was like 2 years ago, though.
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
Yeah. That was
So-
about 2 years ago.
But from that moment, I was, you know, thinking about it every time from the time we was driving back up to New York, and I'm just like, you know, V ain't lying. Like, I'm lying to myself.
Because we was able to go to the backstage and everything.
Yeah.
So I
was
remember now. I'm like, shit, I forgot about that.
So I stopped being in denial, and I said, if I'm gonna really go after this, go. So
Right. No, and I will say I'm impressed because again, there was a time that I was even like if you're not, and it's not that you're not talented, but we already know, it's like it's not enough.
right.
You know, and it's sad because talent should be, you know, like hard work in a sense, but it really doesn't.
Yeah, it's true what they say. Talent is only 10% of the business.
Yeah.
You know, what else can you bring to the table? What else can you do? So I really took that to heart and just challenged myself and started doing deeper research. Started praying more, honestly, because I didn't know what I was gonna be getting myself into.
Okay.
Because this was really my first time going hard for something that I really care for.
Gotcha. You know, like you have the whole, am I an established artist or am I an underground artist? And if I'm going to be, depends where you want to go, right? But it's like, where do you see yourself? Where you know, how, like, do you see yourself as a business person or you just doing this for the love? I mean, or for fun, should I say? Because the love and passion is a whole different aspect.
Thing,
Yeah.
Definitely see myself as a business person. I understand how important it is to make sure that the business part of the music is done correctly and handled correctly for people to take you serious. There's a lot of people who's performing and don't even have a pro organizer behind them.
Right, right.
So it's like, what are you doing? Right? Why you not signed up with either BMI, ASCAP, or CSAC? Why you not researching to making sure that the venues have a license to pay you for that performance? Right? There's people who don't even have EPKs.
Oh God. And that's just the minor one. That's the minor aspect.
You know?
You mentioned the licensing, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
Like half of these guys are not even like properly published or licensed, or like don't even have the proper, or not even distributed.
Right.
Like
music
so
copywritten.
right.
So it's like a lot of it's a lot of variables in the business side that needs to get taken care of for people to take you serious. Otherwise, you'll be just like everybody else in the bucket of barrel. I mean, one thing I would say though is it's important to be disciplined.
Very.
It's important to understand what patience is. With me having patience and discipline, I was able to maximize my finances when it came to investing into this music.
Right.
So I wasn't spending my money all crazy, all willy nilly. So I was doing that. I was also talking to my accountant. We would like have meetings and stuff to understand what am I doing with this money, and what am I getting out of it.
That was really smart. I'm proud of you with that. That's dope. Let's talk about your artistry, right?
Yeah.
Now you just released finally your album.
I know, after all these years.
16 tracks.
Yeah.
No crumbs left on my plate. How was the process behind that project?
It was tough because I had to relive some of those moments in my life that kept me depressed.
Right.
My anxiety level was extremely high. Reflecting back on those times where, looking back now, I was disappointed. I wish my life was different, but I'm learning from it.
Okay.
I'm growing from it, and now I'm expressing it for others who may be dealing with it.
I wanted let me take it out on my phone.
Okay.
I was listening to, we had the conversation, but I was listening to your album, and then you have Depression, the interlude, right? I always loved Depression too. Depression one was always always a joint for me as well. But the interlude, right, to Depression 2, you opened up.
Yeah.
You opened up visually. Emotionally, you opened up. I can see how you say you relived certain things, and it has to be tough. Yeah. Knowing that you, like, in your lyrics you had, I'm gonna just do little parts of the lyrics, not the full thing, but you, like you said, visually you can see your spirit cry. That touched me, and I was like, okay. And then when you was like being sexually abused and feeling confused, and the fact that you opened up how you got raped twice, and to talk about that, like, for me, I'm like, that's deep. I mean, obviously it's deep, but like, that's deep to speak on it to strangers.
Right.
So what made you want to, I know you said you're sharing the story for other people who can relate, but what really, like, how did you manage to be like, you know what, I'm gonna actually expose this truth, and I'm ready to expose it so maybe others can relate?
Just being true to myself.
Okay.
Understanding that was a point in my life where I held back a lot of emotions. Me being a lot older now, understanding everything that transpired those nights, and it's just like, if I'm gonna do this music thing, I'm gonna give all of me. You know, and I can't be scared. I can't be scared. So just like a lot of people when they listen to the album, they don't even know that happened. You know,
I'm sure.
so,
I mean, when I heard it, I was like, you know, and I obviously you told me a little bit more details to it, and I'm like, shit. You know, like, I'm sorry you had to go through that.
yeah.
You know, the fact of like you going through that and you're expressing it, like, how do you feel like in society how it's a double standard? It's a, you know, when it comes to men expressing how they were raped by women.
Right.
Like, what's your intake on that?
I just think statistically, yes, a lot of women are getting raped by men.
Yes.
But there are instances where men are also getting raped by women, and it's not talked about often. You know, a lot of children are being sexually abused by women, and that's not talked about often. You know, this is an exclusive. So the second verse, which I didn't release on that album, I'm actually going into detail how, can't remember what grade I was in, but I was playing with blocks as a little kid, and this teacher would always tell me to basically finger pop her, but she would say, poke it. I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. I'm a little kid playing with blocks, and she was sending all the kids outside to go play in the playground so it could just be me and her.
Right.
You know? So, you know, I'm just doing this.
That's crazy.
Legit, just doing like this, and then I'm just like playing with my blocks. But I'm not understanding what the fuck is going on.
Right.
You know? And then the cases where I did get raped, you know, I was paralyzed at one point. I understood. No, not that I understood, but I was able to see everything that was happening to me. But I wasn't able to feel nothing. Right? So my organs are fully functional. Right?
Okay.
But personally, I was numb. I was just paralyzed, you know? And she took advantage of me. The moment I was able to gain any type of mobility, I ran out of there.
Okay.
You know? The second time I was at an event, house party, I didn't get to really eat a lot, and I was offered a drink, you know, and the moment I drank, and I thought it was all cool beans, you feel me? Like,
okay,
ain't nothing gonna happen. I drank the drink, got intoxicated, to the point where everything is now a blur.
Did you get intoxicated? Like, did you continue drinking?
No.
Or was just off of that one drink?
I felt sick with that one drink, yeah.
Okay.
And I knew it was that because the very next day, after I wake up being outside, you know, the little wine cooler, little Smirnoffs.
Yeah.
I took a swig and my body just felt like I'm back being drunk again. The alcohol percentage level on the Smirnoff in the corner store is about 7%, 8%,
like
or something
5.
like that. Yeah, so it's just like
maybe 5 to 7 around there. Yeah,
I know there was more inside of my body, but I didn't have nothing else to drink.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I'm talking to all my niggas and all that. Yo, you good? You got pussy? You know what I mean? And then just like at the time period, I didn't really, you know, I didn't look at it like that. So it's just like, oh, all right, well, maybe it is a good thing. You know, 'cause I'm young. I don't really understand what just happened, but to everybody else, they're just like, yo, you smash, so you good.
When did you realize there's something wrong with this? Although your friends is like, yo, you got, you know, like you got ass, like whatever, like bro,
Right.
like, you know, I could imagine the things that were being said, you know.
They was also telling me, you know, you wanted that, you know, you wanted that to happen. In both instances, I was dealing with somebody already, so it just like, and they knew, you know. So when I went to go speak to my partners at the time period, they just like, nah, you know, you wanted that to happen.
That's what she told you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she didn't believe that a scenario of that magnitude could happen. It was more so I willingly got drunk. I willingly did these things, you know. So it was just like,
How old were you?
the first time I want to say about 16,
Okay.
probably 16, 17.
Okay.
The second time, 'cause I wasn't driving yet. I was still taking the bus and shit like that. So I had to been about 17, 18. Um, but after that was the very last time that I accepted beverages from anybody. I started just grabbing my own drinks and started going to the, like, obviously once I got old enough, I started just, when I go to the bar, I'll get my own beverage. I don't let nobody give me nothing now.
When did you realize, like, yo?
That shit was fucked up.
Yeah.
After I saw Antoine Fisher.
That's what you mentioned, obviously, in your lyrics.
After I saw Antoine Fisher. See, and it's crazy though, because the older you get and you start revisiting some of these old movies, shit hits different, right? So when I saw Antoine Fisher the first time, I didn't really, like, I enjoyed the movie, but I didn't put the two and two together into my life.
Okay.
Until I got older. And then the older I got and I watched it again, it just trickle effect, like, oh, that was fucked up. You know? And then I started doing research and started, you know, realizing this shit actually happens more often than people think.
Right.
You know, just us as men, we don't talk about it because it's almost in the sense of it takes away from our masculinity.
Right. So
Or even to even say the word rape for at least, well, yeah, obviously for men, they always automatically gonna think, well, he got raped by another guy. They will never assume he got raped by a woman.
it's a lot to take in, and it's a lot to share to others because, again, like you mentioned, like the other people's perspective, not everyone, but other people's perspective, you know,
but
like
the vast majority of it, and then it led to me to believing that was okay. You know?
Wow. Well, what are you doing to work through this other than making your music?
Honestly, just
Like dealing with the pain, healing from this.
just letting my emotions cry. I gotta allow myself to cry. I think holding back your tears doesn't help out. So writing this record itself, I was tearing up because it's just like, am I really ready to express it to the world?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And knowing how sensitive the world is today, but this is me telling my story. I wouldn't be the real me if I didn't release it. And I think personally it's just understanding that you gotta be careful of your surroundings. Be careful who you choose to hang around with.
Right.
Because there are people who claim to be your friends are not really your friends.
Yeah.
There's people who will allow shit to happen knowing the intention of it from the back end, right? So that's where people can sometimes get set up to situations like this. It just taught me a lot of valuable life lessons, and you know I don't wish this on nobody.
Releasing that particular song, did you feel like it would be accepted, or like did you fear what was like other people's thoughts behind it?
In the past, yeah, that's why I never released it.
Right.
But I'm doing this for my own spirit.
Right.
This was my work right here that needed to get done.
So what's the reaction you're getting out of this?
Well, again, when people first heard it for the first time, they thought, that I must have gotten raped by a man.
So this, like, recently, people like,
yeah, I played it for a few people.
Okay.
And some were afraid to kind of ask me the question, right? So they just
like the question of like, was it a man or okay.
And then after like expressing it and telling them, nah, it was not from no man. Then there was, they was telling me that, yo, that's fucked up. That it happened that way.
When did you release the project? I know it was like what, last month?
Last
2
month.
months?
Last month.
Okay, so in a span of a month, have you gotten any like other men who can relate to this?
Yeah, I had a few.
And what was their like?
Their reaction,
yes,
they're like exact same shit happened to me.
Really?
And most of them that did open up to me, indicated that it was done by a family member.
It'd be that uncle or that cousin. Or that whatever, like it's just that like, grandfather. Ugh. It's a trigger.
Yeah.
It's a trigger.
Yeah. I had one of my friends just like took my headphones off and he was just, you all right? He was like, yo, just shit brought me back. And I'm just, and then he started expressing himself how it happened by his aunt. His aunt was molesting him as a kid.
All right.
And then his moms didn't believe him. Little boy.
Yeah. And I don't even think it's because it's just sad when that happens, when you have like seeing how people just are quick to be like, you probably liked it.
Right.
You probably wanted it, and it's like, it's hard to like, when you said like, when you was, being sexually abused and confused, I so understand and relate to that, because I feel like, there are moments where you're confused about the situation. It's like, because people, I don't know, like, maybe, I don't want to speak for you. So like, did you have moments where you're like, did I like it? Did I really want this?
Based off the perception of what this was supposed to be intended for, right? So and it's a hard thing to like even accept the fact that you're like, like, when I say accept, is accepting that you were abused. It's I feel like it's a hard pill to swallow at times. So I applaud it, I applaud the fact of you putting it out there. I do. It's not easy to do, Right.
And this is a person speak from experience, it's not easy to share that, because that's something that it's like, it's a deep pain. It's an embarrassment at times, like you can feel embarrassed, you can feel ashamed, whatever. Like it's just a lot that you got to work through it. And I think that's the beauty to music, right? And this is why I tell people, I'm like, yo, music is so healing. And it doesn't matter what genre it is. Like, this is why I fell in love with hip hop. Because I feel like when I first heard hip hop, one of my first like tracks, like, and I was dumb young, and it was Suicidal Thoughts, Biggie. And I remember being, I think in middle school, hearing it, like the ending of elementary to middle school, like around there, and hearing it, and I understood what he was saying to wanting to like do the actual action behind it. And it's like, what is it that how is it that a child understands that? How is it a child such as yourself like not fully grasping and understanding what it is to poke somebody, but like as an adult, you understanding now, like, shit, I just I just did this.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The world is crazy.
World is crazy. But thank you for sharing that, like, thank you for putting it out there in your music. I heard it, I gave you my input, on it. I think it's a great project. There's certain things you can definitely work on. That's just me being me. You understand?
Of course.
And that's just me being the friend, so don't come for me, people, But, I'm impressed with how much you've improved. I'm impressed with your discipline. It's not that I doubted you, but it's just the fact of not only impressed. Maybe I'm not saying, like, I'm impressed and I'm inspired. Yes. I'm impressed because of the fact of, like, you really, I thought you wasn't listening, like, as much as, and
I probably was that woman that like this motherfucker is not listening, you know, like you know, like, you know.
But I always tell you that, yo, I do listen to
I know,
you,
but
you know what
sometimes
I mean?
it feels like you don't. Like I'm like Joe, what, you know? But I get it because how many times you spoke to me and you probably feel like I don't listen. You know, we're very hard headed people. But you know, the fact that you know, you overcame a lot, and you're, you know, like there's always going to be challenges, there's always going to be battles. That's part of the growth. I feel like when you as a person ask for improvements and growth in life, you're going to be faced with challenges. It's just inevitable, you know.
And I knew in order for me to advance further in my career, I needed to go through this hurdle.
Yeah,
I knew this was one of my setbacks. Like, I'm not digging deeper into my story.
I want to know, like, when it comes to like the mental health, right? Like, how do you maintain being passionate about advocating for mental health within the hip hop community?
I know there's a lot of people that's going through it.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of people who may be afraid to talk about it.
Okay.
But if nobody brings it to the forefront, it's never going to be talked about. Somebody has to start it. Now, granted, there's a lot of dope hip hop artists who talks about this, and I just feel like it's not being highlighted enough.
Okay.
You know, and it's needed.
Yeah, it is.
It's needed. I remember receiving this message randomly, and this is how I knew music was something I was supposed to do.
Okay.
Right, and the message states, "I know you and I don't talk, but I just wanted to let you know you saved my life."
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? I heard your song, and this was when I dropped Depression Part 1.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She said, I heard your song, and it just did something to me, to the point where, I don't know, I almost lost it.
Wow.
I was shocked, because prior to that, I ain't here for this person.
And years.
Years. So, you just never know who's listening, right? Just like we be having posts on social media, but people may not like it, but they'll see it. You just never know who's watching you, you know. So things of that nature is the reason why I continue to advocate and talk about it.
Looking back at your career, because you mentioned depression, right? The first one. Looking back at your career as an artist and where you're at now, what have you learned as an artist, as a businessman, as a person?
I've learned that, for starters, be grateful.
Okay.
Right? Count your blessings. Thank the Lord above. I've learned that articulating yourself is never a bad thing. Right? Being a voice for the voiceless is a powerful thing.
It is. That's a great responsibility. Go
Right.
ahead, Spider-Man.
I've learned that since Depression Part 1 and leading into Part 2, I've changed as a man.
Right.
You know, in Part 1, I was a total wreck. I was doing things to harm myself because I felt empty inside. And in the video, right, you see me at SOBs, it's a packed show. I'm getting dabbed, I'm getting love, but when I'm going home, I'm a wreck.
Right.
You know, and during that stretch, I was really feeling that. Like I felt like I didn't really deserve to be here. I didn't really understand my purpose. So from doing that and then going into Part 2, where I kind of talked about there's hope. I talk about you're not the only one. You know, yet I'm still dealing with it, but you're not the only one. Right? So there's other people you can reach out to for help. There's other people you can talk to. Right? I can talk to you about it. I could talk to my therapist about it. And gain clarity, gain inspiration from others when you can't find it within yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but
It is.
You know, that's why it's important to pray every day. Because every day is a challenge. Every day is a battle.
Right.
You know, so.
I agree. I feel like definitely, and you know, it's not a for me. It would never be a religious thing. It would just. It will. I will always feel like spirituality is a big part of who you are. You know, like, and the fact of you, you know, like you said, like always praying, always having that, you know, like that light within. You know, like it does. It pushes. You know, like it pushes you. Your spirit pushes you.
Yeah.
You know. That's a, you know, like that's just, I think that's just what it is. You know, I'm proud. I'm a proud person with you. You know, continue, thriving, stepping out the box, because I feel like that's where you're at now, where you're stepping out, you're constantly stepping out your comfort zone. You know, going back to your project, you know, like listening to the other tracks you have, you know, I felt your pain. I felt you wanting to put it out there and have people hear the message, you know, and have people relate to the story. Hence why I was just like, I told you, like, yo, I heard it, and I actually thought it was good. You know, I loved how you had certain interludes, or how you had certain messages during the song, or right before you would start rapping or whatever, you know. And I loved it, because I was just like, you know, like, yeah, like, you can do it. You know, you can do it. You know, like, even when people doubt you, even, you know, like, you can do it. Sometimes we are our own worst enemies.
Oh, that is true.
You understand? So listening to the track, I was just like, all right, you know, like, definitely, you know, look forward to what's next, because if this was a big challenge for you, because now you had to go deep inside your soul, I could imagine what's next now. So very quickly, I want to know, like, how was the process of selecting the songs? Because you had 16 tracks, you know, and me, I remember doing my mixtape, and I had about 18 songs or 16, but I had way more.
Yeah.
So it's the whole, you know, like, I already know that process, like selecting songs. So how did you go about selecting which songs will make the track, the album, should I say?
Yeah, the way I did it, I listened to most of the songs and try to make sure I don't duplicate the same song or the same type of song.
Okay.
Right. And then I try to make sure I create a storyline where you can listen through it and then know that each one is following after the next one. And then there's some songs that I just feel like wasn't album material.
Okay.
You know, so, and then, the biggest thing I was doing, the songs that I wanted to put on the album, I will go perform live.
Okay.
And see what the crowd reaction was.
Gotcha.
And then make more decision off of that, because ultimately at the end, it's like they're the ones who's going to be supporting me, right? So I need to make sure that I grasp their attention. So I would try different things. Or I would grab the 2 verses from one song and then put it on a different beat and then go perform that live and see how they feel about this one.
Okay.
So
that's dope. All right. That was smart. I like that. That was a dope process. And it's, you know, lastly, I want to know, when was the last time you did something for the first time?
When the last time I did something for the first time?
Yeah.
That's hard. When the last time I did something for the very first time?
You haven't done anything for the first time, in general, personally, as an artist.
I guess I started hiking since coming out here. I never hiked before.
Oh my God, I love hiking.
Yeah, you know, getting to see the scenery and the view, and you know, getting into better shape. So I never hiked before until I came out here, because there's no hiking in New York.
I mean,
there is. You just gotta know where to go.
Unless you're walking up hills and mad steps in the Bronx. You know how?
I mean, I get that. But,
right. So outside of that, yeah, I guess.
Done.
I guess hiking will probably be the first thing that could pop into my mind.
That's dope. Listen, that's a dope experience. I love hiking. I went hiking out here in LA. After that, I was like, I caught such a high. Like, I was like, yo,
it's this is for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. There are places in New York though, but it's like more up north.
Oh, okay. Well, like Poughkeepsie and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely over there. Bear Mountain, Rockland. Like.
Oh, I definitely ain't going to Rockland. No. I remember getting a speeding ticket over there, and I was going 1 mile over the limit, and then I had to go to Corporate.
Listen.
Come on, dog.
Yeah.
1 mile per hour, really?
You know why, though.
I know why.
It's because you're big and beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? Hating. But, yeah, I never done hiking until I came out here. So
That's dope.
Well, I can say.
Well, Joe, I'm proud of your growth. I'm proud of just everything you've accomplished, and I look forward to seeing what's next for you. Sure. I know you're doing a lot of shows. I know, I know there's a lot happening with you. So, it's just a matter of time. Like you said, it was all about having the patience. Yeah. So, I definitely see, the success that you've been. Go ahead. Craving or wanting.
A lot of people can't be afraid of success when it's knocking at your door.
But it is scary.
It is.
Because it's the fear of the unknown.
Right.
We don't, especially when we're not used to this.
But if this is something that you want,
right, you
have to push through it.
Right, and I agree with you. It's hard though.
You have to push through it. You have to.
No, you do. You have. I totally agree.
I didn't know that going overseas, people would relate to my music. That was scary within itself.
Right.
But I pushed through it.
No, you definitely did. You definitely did. You did, and I, like I said, this is why I feel like it's very inspirational. It's very motivational. I'm sure a lot of people are watching, and they're motivated in their aspects. Behind your passion, and it's a beautiful process, because it's hard to make it. It's it's like what, a 1% chance, 2% chance, So just you're doing it regardless of what you're doing it. So, and I'm proud of you. Continue grinding, continue working. Can you let everybody know where they can find you? All that good stuff.
You can follow me on all platforms. All platforms. Music by The Poet, spelled properly. And go check out my album, No Crumbs Left on My Play, on all platforms as well.
And y'all already know the vibes, man. There's no reason why you shouldn't be following the man. All you got to do is hit the link below. Right. Click on it. It's free. It's going to be in the description box. And y'all already know, man. It's your girl, V-HENNY, the Artistry Show. And we out. Rock out with your cocks out, jam out with your glam out.